Reminds us that a game typically never comes down to a single play. That said, I will tell you why we should be able to challenge no calls coming up here on a very interesting edition of Pelicans Live presented by Toyota. David Wesley, I need no other usher into the show than that,
You're
my
funny.
friend. No, I'm serious. We need, can I just say?
I know you're serious.
Well, I know he had to listen. He had to listen to me for like the final minute of the game. We need like a flag, like in football, where you can toss it. And I get it. You got to wait for a stoppage before you can challenge a no call. But we need to at least be able to challenge that because it's just as deadly as a bad call.
I think I'm going to go to the rules committee meeting this summer. I'm going to see if I can get that done for you because you're exactly right.
I appreciate that.
There should be a flag that you can throw, a red one, a green one, who knows what color, but a flag that you throw. But for me, in the game of basketball, if the roles were reversed, I would not want the officials to call this foul. And again,
really?
you look at it a couple of different angles. It is a foul. It is a foul. But I don't know that I want the officials to
it's a foul, but we're just not going to call it in real time?
Well, they don't see it. They didn't see it. When I first saw it, I thought it was clean. The replay is the only reason I know it was a foul.
Again. And I get it. You can't challenge a no call.
And there's your flag throw.
I get it. If it's a no call, no whistle blown, you can't challenge it until a stoppage. Then I think you review it. You see that it was clearly hacked. He never gets the. Can we just be? He never gets the foul call. He gets the Shaq treatment. You know, and it's frustrating to watch.
It is the worst calling. Yeah. It's the worst officiating of any player since Shaq. I agree with that because he gets banged, he gets hit, and when you got a body that size, it's hard to call. It's hard to call. You think he should absorb some of that. You don't look at the contact on the body as much, but you let a smaller guard go through there, and he gets grazed, and he gets that call every time. It's unfair, but it's also, that's how basketball is played.
Well, I hate admitting Antonio Daniels is right, but he was right on the call. Games typically do not come down to a single play. The Pelicans were essentially playing catch-up all night long, in large part to turnovers. You can't continue to give it up and play chase the Nuggets all night. That gets exhausting. And I believe it was their 14th game now, David, with at least 18. They would finish with 21. Nuggets would score 23 off of those. You can't have that and then, I guess, expect it to come down to a call or no call in the final seconds.
Well, here's the thing is these teams are so evenly matched. You look at the first two games, they finished with the exact same score, and each team won a game. You come down to this, and you have 23 turnovers. But if you look at the points off turnovers, there's a 1-point difference. The Pelicans are in much dire need of this win than the Denver Nuggets, and they needed to come in with a different focus when it comes to taking care of the basketball. And, if they come out of here with, let's say, 10 or 12 turnovers, which is about what they needed, they win this game. They're up at the end, and Denver's trying to come back. And those are the things that you have to do when you're in dire straits. But they came out, they turned it over often, early, and when you give this team a lead, now they're playing from the front. They're not a fast-paced team. They're slow it down, methodical. Let's get our game in. But also, when you turn it over, now they're a fast break team, and they're running down, and they're scoring easy baskets. So it really put them in a bind, put them behind, and they could never quite get over the hump.
And it's unfortunate considering New Orleans won its last 3 visits in Denver. That will, of course, come to an end tonight as the Pels continue to alternate wins and losses in the last 4. On the other side, though, 4th-seeded Denver continues to roll. They've won now 7 of the last 8, and this is after losing Jamal Murray. And, yeah, it's in large part to MPJ, who is a Pelicans killer traditionally, who we talked about in the pregame show, but also that MVP frontrunner, Nikola Jokic. No triple-double for him tonight. But the point center seems to be going well for him, David Wesley.
Excellent game by both of those guys. But Jokic, he's such a tremendous talent, and the things that he can do. And like I said, he can go get you 30 if he wants to almost every night. But what he's going to do is pass the ball, and he loves to get his guys involved. I think he saw too many single coverages. I think he saw too much space, and he was able to do pretty much what he wanted to do. He's a tough cover. He should not be able to make that move without somebody at least digging. Even if you're not double teaming, you got to go down there and dig. You got to make him think about something else. And again, that means some other player may get off, like a Campazzo. He's going to get hot, or he's going to have angles and runs to the basket because you're doubling or because you're paying attention. But some of that stuff you have to live with because you definitely need to get Jokic stopped.
If I were to tell you tonight that Lonzo Ball would be the one to record a triple-double in this matchup, you would say
sneaky.
Ooh.
Sneaky triple-double. When I heard it announced, and I don't have stats looking at me constantly, but when I heard that he had a triple-double, I said, "Wait, what?" They weren't even talking about it during the call. So, and then all of a sudden he has a triple-double. Nice game, brilliant game, and again, all in a loss. You're getting great performances by a lot of players: Zion, Bi, Lonzo, and yet, you know, if you turn the ball over that many times and you're not even giving yourself a true chance.
It was a very quiet triple-double, but listen, Lonzo came up big in the clutch, you know, in the final minute.
Yes.
Or so. He and Brandon really were kind of the two that took control, and you know, it was nice for me to see Brandon nail one of those clutch shots down the stretch, considering what we touched on in the pregame show. And that's the fact that, you know, there are nights where not every other Pel is held accountable. So he's got 2 or 3 guys on him. Tonight, I felt like he had a better matchup in those situations.
Well, he's looking at a lot of attention. He's looking, you know, a lot of guys are so he has to work extra hard to get where he's going. But, you know, you look at his fourth quarter numbers, 10 points in the quarter. Exactly what you needed. You talk about early in the pregame about his finishing. I thought that's a finish. 10 points in the quarter, that gets it done. It certainly got him back and gave him a chance there at the end, and they just didn't finish it. They just couldn't get that one bucket, and maybe Zion's foul block situation could have been the difference and sent it to overtime, which I think the Pelicans had the momentum, and they possibly could have won this in overtime.
No doubt about it. Listen, you've mentioned before you've had turf toe before in your career.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh God. So
it is serious and it is hard to get rid of. Yes.
So you understand then what Steven Adams is going through.
I cut a hole